So I would work through the day like a warrior, deliver like a good, solid professional in the material world, but come back home to my heart. And believe you me, there are a lot of people with fancy titles and great jobs, their personal lives, I feel sad for them. I empathize with them, I'll pray for them. But the truth is, what glitters is not gold. There's a whole lot of subconscious. Now, marrying this deep philosophy with the hard, brutal material world of presentations, wins,
Yeah.
competitions,
Cutthroat.
deals, in the cutthroat world, wonderfully
Yeah,
worked, in the
yeah.
cutthroat world,
Yeah.
where because out there only results matter, only results matter.
Are you referring to even like the purpose of life
Yeah.
for them? Because coaching, I mean, there's life coaching, there's purpose coaching, and I'm guessing so, since
There's
you know I
business
come
coaching.
from similar to me,
Yeah,
that business coaching would include the softer, the emotional part of life.
you actually cannot separate because when I sit with the CEO and we start quote unquote peeling the onion of his personality, right? In this, it's called coachability assessment.
Nice.
So first, I don't grab businesses like that. So when I am invited, I first do a very candid, the word is candid, coachability assessment. And Neha, there have been cases where I have to tell people, you're not coachable right now. No, I'm not referring to his IQ. He's gone through a divorce.
Oh.
He's gone through a death of his parents during COVID. Both parents gone in 15 days.
Wow.
Some hope in hell he'll be in a receptive mood to apply, imbibe, apply, and test out hypothesis of coaching. So, or somebody who was, I actually tell them, you're not healed. Because I'm not a healer, I'm a business coach.
Got it.
So why don't you either go to a spiritual guru, do yoga, or go to psychiatrist or whatever, heal yourself of the wounds that you're carrying, because that will come in the way of you being coached properly. So people are saying, oh my God, you're refusing business. See, coaching is not about Pramod. Coaching is about the coaching.
Yeah.
It's not about me, it's about the other person.
Yeah.
So you have to be very candid and not get greedy about business.
I think you're
Because-
one of those very few people who have told me this because, you know, otherwise it's very commercial, right? People don't want to let go of an
Very.
opportunity.
Absolutely.
But I really admire the fact that, you know, you're more concerned about, like you said, the other person, right? Because that 100% receptivity and absorption needs to come because no matter how much golden wisdom you have,
Beautifully put.
what's the point? Yeah.
See, in the first place, is coming to you for help, and then you make commercial mercenary approach out of it. Blasphemous,
Yeah.
appalling, abysmal.
It's a waste.
You know, you should be very nurturing, and you actually tell him, come back after 6 months, I'm still available. Okay? So when we start peeling the onion coachability assessment, we find a lot of people are mixed up. There's a conflict between purpose in life and business purpose. A lot of people are going through that conflict. At heart, he wants to be this very giving guy, but the business or whatever it is, be selfish, do the shortcuts, be cutthroat, and blah, blah, blah. So people go through. So when we do that, you obviously get into life purpose and life coaching. Some people are transitioning from one role into another.
Yeah.
So there's a transition coaching.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there is these days there's a lot of other coaching, you know, emotional coaching, this, that, everything else. But by and large, and coaching is very different from mentoring. You sort of nudge and just sort of manage the process so that he takes ownership. You don't do things for him.
Wow.
Most important
I love
in-
that
in-
demarcation.
Yeah, and in coaching, Neha, the most important thing is you have that extra insight which you inject and enlighten in him so that then he gets inspired and moves on. You don't do things for him. And now that calls for my own great spiritual preparedness, my emotional intelligence,
Well
my
said.
sense of empathy. You see? So, the coming back, so coaching is the
Sure.
other bit that I do.
Sure.
So that's been my journey. I've enjoyed it. I've not always had great time. Like all people, I want to be vulnerable enough to admit I've got knocks, but then you rise. And you know what? The true character of a person is not known when I call it what? Twang in the talk and swagger in the walk. You know, everyone's saying, oh, well, I'm Shah Rukh Khan, I'm Amitabh Bachchan.
Your quotes are like bang on. Now I know the literature bit.
Yeah. The swagger in the walk and trying it, oh, when things are good, everybody's a hero.
Wow.
It's when chips are down.
Yes.
It's when there is a bunch of people trying to pull you down. It's when life knocks you like pandemic did. Or if recession hits and you suddenly your wealth is wiped out in stock market.
The crisis.
Then do you say, and you know the only thing that comes to you is your philosophy, let thy will be done. The moment you get into...
As still as the Buddha.
Buddha. Wonderful. And the moment you get into either an aggressive mode or a defensive mode, you're gone. And here it brings me to a wonderful phrase given by Dr. Kamlesh Patel, and that is cheerful acceptance. If there is one mantra, if Nehha, you held a gun and said, Pramod, give me one takeaway from this, cheerful acceptance. Acceptance is not complacence or giving up. Acceptance is having the maturity to know you do not have all the answers.
Beautiful. I love
There are
that.
three things. You know what you know. You know what you don't know. The third one, you don't know what you don't know.
You're killing it today.
It's the third phase when you don't know what you don't know, you're groping, you don't have all the wisdom. And
Yes.
that's when you need to have the faith and surrender and humility to say, I do not have all the answers, so please guide me. That inner
That's
light.
the first step.
That's the first step.
Yeah, so you were talking about the coaching bit
Yeah.
of your journey.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're currently into? Like
Yeah.
what are the offerings, the gamut of offerings?
Sure. So a little round off on coaching. So today coaching is becoming big business.
Right.
In fact, I don't know the numbers right now, but there's a study where training expense in the US is less. And the coaching expense is higher. Because training is 1 day, 2 day. Coaching is firstly very fulsome, and secondly it's long lasting. Training is I teach you something and then after 2 days you may or may not recall.
And
So
also coaching is on the upper level.
On the upper level.
Right,
And
so-
yeah.
yeah.
So that's a really fascinating space. I'm really enjoying that space. What helps me is my rich experience in these amazing companies where I myself have had mentors and coaches. So I carry that and it
Sure.
manifests.
Sure.
With regard to what I'm doing now, so I started this company called Talent Smith Consulting. And
Lovely
how did the
name.
name Talent
Yes.
Smith come? Yes.
That was my next question.
Yeah. So one day when I was driving, I saw, say Lakshmi Goldsmith. Okay. So it just struck me, what does Goldsmith do? He takes raw gold and converts to beautiful ornaments for beautiful ladies like you. Then I said,
Although I love diamonds, but yeah.
oh yeah, well done. What have I been doing in the last 25, 28 years? I've been taking raw talent at the campuses or the middle managers and converting them into C-suite professionals.
The alchemy.
The alchemy. So
Wow.
I said, so wordsmith plays with words. So I took talent, I play with talent of people. So, I mean, in a positive way, and I really nurture, cater, sculptor them. So I took Talent Smith Consulting. So that's the name of
There's
the
no
company.
better way to put it.
Yeah.
I love that analogy.
It came from the heart,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
Talent Smith.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I do 4 things, Nehha. One, I have 4 verticals rather in my company.
Sure.
One, the digital transformation space. Today the world is going to artificial intelligence, machine learning, bots, what have you. And a whole lot of enterprises are moving from their traditional legacy systems to the digital space. So thanks to my training at Oracle, which I'm very grateful for, I have that space as an advisor, as an implementer, and just as well my PhD in change management comes in very handy.
Wow.
So it involves a lot of change management, communication. Most important part is stakeholder management. And a
Okay.
lot of people fail there. It's not going to a market and plug and play a software. It's a whole lot of building an ecosystem,
Got
an
it.
agile, transformational ecosystem,
Wow.
so that people can then say, fine, this is the latest 5G or whatever, but then you need the ambience and the ecosystem to really push that agenda in a very fructifiable manner,
I'm
so that
sure.
it has a proof of concept and deliverables customer service, customer engagement, actual profit ROI, and so on and so forth.
So more focused on the sales, if I'm getting it right.
The digital transformation enables sales, but it also enables finance, it enables supply chain, human resources, and what have you.
Like
So it's a
more
whole architecture.
comprehensive.
Yeah, so it's nothing but, if I were to put it largely, okay, first let me tell you if I were to give a motherhood statement for Talent Smith Consulting, what do we do? I am in the business of augmenting people and organizational capabilities through transformational leadership.
Oh my god. Please say that again.
I'll say that again, it's also on my website,
Yeah.
also on my LinkedIn profile. Talent Smith and Pramod are in the business of augmenting people and organizational abilities, potential, capabilities
Beautiful.
through
I love it.
transformational leadership, not through transactional leadership. It's got to be transformational nature,
Very important, right?
which brings in emotional intelligence, design thinking, agile transformation, the digital transformation, that whole piece. People are really looking at, somebody who can come and guide. And the best part why I'm in that business is outsiders come across as apolitical business professionals, where somebody internally, past conflicts and history can always catch up and they hijack a project or they jeopardize it. It happens, the
Of
politics
course.
of the system
Of
and all that.
course.
So one of the ways that people get through is we are neutral. Our only agenda is to help the client go to the next orbit.
So
Okay.
you're catering to an individual as
No.
well as a corporate.
The digital transformation for the corporates.
Okay.
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 For the corporates. The second vertical I have is my executive coaching.
Okay.
A lot of people, especially Nehha post-pandemic, have gone through almost like a post-traumatic syndrome. What with remote
Oh my
management of
God.
talent, loss of lives in their own families, or conflicts between couples because both are professionals, both have calls. Suddenly you have a problem of
Spend too much time together.
domestic help not turning up, kids tuition.
Yeah.
There is actually, I mean, I don't know how true this is. Apparently, this also led to a lot of marital conflicts in a lot of places. This
And
whole
also the increase of population.
Population,
We can't defy that. So we have both the sides.
so work from home,
Yeah.
WFH,
Yeah.
has its plus points, has its
Sure,
collateral damage.
of course.
Absolutely. So I manage the executive coaching space. Especially people are going through. Some of them lost their purpose. Can you believe it?
Oh yeah.
They lost their job and suddenly promote. I'm lost in life now.
Yeah.
I said, dude, it's just a job you lost. You'll come back because layoffs were the norm and stuff like that, cost cuts. So I told them that you only lost a job. This whole lot of, that's when the entire spiritual belief system and the support of cheerful acceptance comes in.
The spiritual stamina.
Spiritual stamina, awesome, Neha, you're bang on. The spiritual stamina comes in, Okay, so that's my second vertical. The third vertical is pure serendipity. I was invited as a keynote speaker. There's an organization called TIE, T-I-E,
Yeah.
the Indus Entrepreneurs.
It's a
global San Francisco
movement.
headquartered body which helps entrepreneurs and startup guys. So it just has happened, they invited me to be keynote speaker, okay, at the TIE Ahmedabad chapter.
What a right fit.
So I said, okay, sure. They said, no, we did a lot of research on who are some of the most powerful speakers in the country. Your name come up. So we want to know whether you're available on these dates. I quickly
That's why
looked up
Google helps.
Google helps. And so they looked up, I looked up and I said, I'm available. I said, but tell me what's the topic? And the topic was how to successfully manage a startup in a VUCA environment. Now VUCA is a 4-letter word called
Fancy word.
VUCA. V stands for volatility, U stands for unpredictability or uncertainty, C stands for complexity, and A stands for ambiguity. So
Wow.
2008 financial crisis started VUCA. Actually, this term was first used in the Cold War between America and Russia because everything was volatile.
That's where it
So
began.
that's when, and it really gained preeminence when the subprime crisis happened in the US, and this word became very topical. VUCA, VUCA, and even today and pandemic further highlighted because everything is volatile. When Japan sleeps, America wakes up, and vice versa.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
stock
yeah.
market's behavior,
Yeah.
who leads whom, okay, And as I say, if America sees the rest of the world catches cold, really how, who, where, what, when, the cross-currency fluctuations, the currency risks and the interest rate risks, and a whole lot of that
Of
in the
course.
world of finance caused a whole lot of volatility, unpredictability, complexity, and ambiguity. We don't know, you know.
Bullseye.
Let me give you a simple example. In in the Ukraine war,
Mm-hmm.
India went through an amazing VUCA. They had great relationship with Russia. They couldn't snap it simply because the whole world is snapping it because of inhuman stuff. At the same time, our great Prime Minister, huge respects for him, the way he's diplomatically managed, we still get oil from Russia, right? The whole of Europe, which is
Yeah.
now down in the dumps, is because of the oil crisis not being supplied, the gas supply, right? So how did the Prime Minister of the country, amazing, amazing leader, how he manages beautifully walk the path, the tightrope between managing great relationship with US and the rest of the Europe, and yet continue being friends with Russia. Now this is a great example of stakeholder management where everything is very ambiguous. We don't know.
Yeah.
And today the trade and commerce is agnostic of regions and geography. You know, there is stuff you don't like what China did through Corona the virus, but yet there's a lot of business connections happening there, both from India to US and to China and China to US. So those can't be cut off.
Yeah.
All right, it
Yeah.
happens gradually.
I mean,
Just-
we all have to survive
Yeah.
as an ecosystem,
Yeah.
right? We can't
So until
find
until a year back, Apple produced all of its phones in China. So if you bought an Apple iPhone made in China, but now it's proudly going to be made in India or being made in India because suddenly Apple
Yeah.
thought, hey, listen, man, with you got so much of disease and uncertainty and all that ambiguity,
Yeah.
volatility and all that.
Yeah, I just want to, sorry to interrupt, but I want to bring back the point of Modi that you mentioned.
Gee,
So, you said that he negotiated really well between the countries, right? Do you think the credit goes to his yoga, meditation, the lifestyle? I mean, he's known to be the spiritual, person. So,
Yes.
what's your view on it?
in my view, he's a fantastic blend of three things:
Mm-hmm.
Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga.
Wow.
He brings this together. The Bhakti Yoga and the Jnana Yoga gives him that strength, and Karma Yoga is when he's at the table executing operations.
Mm.
So immensely, look at his stature. Apart from
It's
his
very
auditory powers,
evident.
I'm a huge fan of his leadership competencies.
Which
Unbelievable.
will come to when we
Especially
talk
in the
about
VUCA
it.
world
Yeah.
today, though he's managing. Sorry, we digressed a little. But coming back, so the third thing is this whole world of startups I was talking about.
Yeah, sure.
The VUCA. So sorry, I was telling you how this startups happen.
Mm.
So I go there, Neha, Hotel Hyatt Residency or Regency, whatever, in Ahmedabad, it's the biggest hotel. I go there and I thought it would be a group of 150, 200 people. I deliver a lecture. Oh, wait, I should tell you. I said, what's the topic? I said, how to manage a startup. I told him, I don't have a startup. I've been an out and out corporate guy.
Are you sure you
So
want
how
me?
come you want me? I mean, because that way I'm very honest.
Yeah.
If I'm not it, just because for glamour and some applause, I won't go and do a topic.
Of course.
I said, hey, gentlemen, the dates are fine, but the topic, I'm not a startup guy. No, sir, you're a great startup guy. So I told him, oh, which are the startups which I have done and I don't know about them.
Mm.
What he was referring to is they've done research on my biodata and my profile. I was a startup person, the first 6 guys of HDFC Bank.
Oh,
Which today has
they
gone
went
on
back
to-
to the roots.
Huh.
Wow.
And we were 6 of us who left Citibank to start HDFC Bank. And it's gone on to become a global brand.
Of course.
The second thing, a certain Mr. Bill Gates came to India to start Microsoft.
Uh-huh.
And I was the first guy to be hired.
What are you saying?
The first
You
HR director.
basically set the milestones
So,
for Microsoft
Yeah.
in India, guys.
so built the growth engines, built the building blocks. So these guys at TIE have researched and said, you actually managed to do startups which is not yours, but come and teach us the art and science.
As
I
good.
said, oh, like that? Because I'm not a startup guy, I don't have a startup. So I went back to
Where
the
was the self-awareness, or was it modesty?
No, I'm being honest. Truth be told, I don't have a startup. But what I did was I accepted the invitation, went back to the drawing board. You remember that earlier thing about when you teach, you learn, right? So I said, what I
Your
did,
mantra.
what I did, Neha, was I prepared a 90-minute workshop of how to build a startup based on my practical experience of HDFC Bank and Microsoft.
Perfect.
So no gyanbaji, no nothing, no just preaching. I put
Pure
that.
experience.
All I did was I walked into the room. So this was the background of my going. I walked into the room, 800 people packed in the boardroom of Crystal Room of Hyatt in Ahmedabad. I said, holy smokes!
Were you psyched or were
Very.
you excited?
Very, and no, the bigger shock.
Or excitedly
I-
psyched?
I'm not a startup guy, and the people sitting in the first, I salute them. I don't know if I should take their names, whether they like it or not. They were, to use a
We
Hindi
like
term.
names, Pramod. Come on, bring it on.
Okay, one
We're
was
saying
Mr.
something nice.
Okay, one was Mr. Arjun Handa.
Okay.
He's the guy who started a pharma company, startup guy, and he sold to Japanese for 8,500 crores. Now he's sitting there in the audience and said he should be here.
Wow.
Then, one Mr. Satyan Thakur, after 3 startups, Stanford dropout, 3 startups in California, now he's come to India. He's done a startup he's developed an app which is on your watch and your mobile called Cube. Cube is an app for all financial management, investments,
Wow.
wealth advisory, everything.
Something like
as a-
Zero Dog.
Zero them,
Yeah.
right? So he was there. Then there is this famous cricketer from Ahmedabad, Parthiv Patel. He's now a startup guy and industrialist.
Oh, nice.
He's bid by to
VC.
cricketer. With those people, I'm saying, what am I doing here? But I said, they've called me. I'm on the stage. They introduced me. I said, I'll just do that. Neha,
The sweet nervousness.
Neha, what was supposed to be a 90-minute workshop went for 3 hours.
Wow.
Because they said, wait a minute, explain this. So it's not a preachy
See,
PowerPoint.
that's why I call you a rock star.
No.
You're the Shah Rukh Khan of.
No.
You're
It was
speaking
pure,
the way-
honest presentation of what I did. It was not a preachy PPT. It was live, practical use case and case studies. So then people started asking questions. Went on for 3 hours with a break in between. That is not the real thing. Real thing, when I got down from the stage, about 100 people came and surrounded me.
Wow.
And they said, sir, can you be an advisor / mentor? And I used to work with Oracle those days. With these American companies, you do only one thing, no moonlighting. And you sign an NDA, plus it's an ethic.
Right.
So I said, thank you for the honor, all you 100 guys.
Yeah.
But I really cannot be in official capacity, definitely not on monetary basis. Because I get a salary, I'm dedicated, I don't mix
Also the bandwidth, right?
conflict of interest, also the value conflict. So they said, oh, and I'm reminded, one guy told in Gujarati, Maru pas paiso che, maru pas idea che, nothing che how to do it. You come and advise us.
That quite sounds wrong, but yeah.
I don't
You
know.
get the point.
The point there, I mean, I'm not a Guju, so I don't know Gujarati. What I understood was,
No. I mean, yeah, anyway.
they said, I've got the money, I've got the idea. Man, I'm really struggling how to get on with it.
Got
How to
it.
push the envelope. So you presented architecture which really gives that kind of lead. So you know what? On my flight back, I thought, damn, am I carrying a diamond in my pocket and I don't know about it? Which is this knowledge about building up.
Yeah.
How do you build an organization? So when I
This is
decided,
your enlightening point.
my aha moment.
Yeah, but you also mentioned to me one thing about this very legendary gentleman coming and hugging you on the stage. Can you please
No, it's okay.
share that as well?
That's all right. I mean, there was
No, I
very
mean, that was a light bulb moment. Come on.
That is, it's okay. I mean, I would like to play it down because there are lots of good people there, and so nothing great. But yes, it was a great honor in front of a very, very elite marquee audience to be acknowledged, appreciated by this ambassador of Indian corporate world. It was a good pat on the back, a great nudge and a great impetus. But the more important point was, on my flight back, I said, Pramod, are you having an idea whose time has come? So when I decided to start my consulting, I said I'll go back to those 100 guys. So those guys I tapped. It was 2 years later. I went back and saying I'm
You
now
had the
not
data.
because I left Oracle to start now, and that's when I got them. So now it's going. That's my third vertical. Fourth is Nehha. I've developed 8 individual intellectual property on leadership training programs.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
So leadership training is different from executive coaching. Executive coaching is one-on-one.
Yeah.
Leadership training, you've got 20, 25
Groups.
people.
Yeah.
You take them to Manali, Mahabaleshwar. It's a lab. It's called a growth lab.
Wow.
Okay, so I nurture those talent. I do psychometric testing. I do a lot of other behavioral testing, interpret the data, make them go through, and then build leadership blockages.
Got it.
So the kind of modules I have is one is on negotiation skills. Negotiation is an art and a science.
So crucial.
Crucial.
I mean, everything boils down to
Yeah.
numbers, right?
And we are coming to the other one, which is thought leadership, which I might as well tell you. I've got a program called Tolerance to Ambiguity. Okay?
From
A lot of guys, when everything is chalk and clear, anybody can crack it. But when everything is fog and misty, yet you